All right, gentlemen. So that's Ethereum, right? So we know what we're doing. We're talking inside the Taylor's code. We got the plays. We're set up for that. All right. So here's what I was looking at yesterday, just for a little bit of context and seeing whether or not we get that nuke all the way down to the bottom of the range on these altcoins, or if we start to pump. So on BNB, the last couple of days, the last 2 days, BNB actually got this huge meat stick up here at the top of its previous all-time highs. And it actually just retraced. It was up over $700. Yeah, it was up to $730. So it actually rejected. So that was interesting. We were looking at this as some type of signal, as to say, well, if BNB is reclaiming its major levels and it's starting to become bullish again, that could be an indicator for the rest of the altcoin market that other altcoins are going to start to catch up and start reclaiming levels and start becoming bullish again in their structure. Now, it did reject and it's starting to draw back a little bit, so we'll see what happens today after Trump announces his tariffs. But this is what we were looking towards is, okay, is BNB giving us some type of signal here? Are we getting a little bit of a reclaim on these levels on altcoins, or what are we doing here? Okay. It did get rejected though, so we'll see. Now, BNB is interesting because CZ and Binance are the ones who essentially, study crime, control this chart. And BNB has been reaccumulating and ranging across its previous cycle all-time highs for a while now, since March of 2024, so almost a year now. It's been ranging and reaccumulating right at its previous cycle all-time highs. That is incredibly bullish. And CZ got out of jail. He's back on the buttons. Binance is going to start making shit happen again. He's been bull posting the shit out of BNB. I'm not going to say when and where, because again, you got to be inside the Taylor's code for that. So I let the gentleman know inside whenever we're accumulating and when it makes sense to accumulate. But this is something where I'm looking at this and saying, all right, I want to buy this. I want to accumulate this asset, because if I get it at the right levels, this shit's going to fucking run. Okay? Why is it going to run? Look at this perfect four-year range. So BNB, since May of 21, whenever we had that massive alt season back after COVID, right? Runs up, creates this range, runs up, retests the range high again in November of 21. So it didn't break its all-time high. It didn't go into price discovery again. Retraced, get some interaction with the mid-range, come back, create the bottom of the range, interact with the mid-range again. See? So this is a clear range, right? You're getting all this interaction. Okay. Okay. Come over here and get this breakthrough. Come to the top of the range. Boom. So we tried to get this breakout in December, the beginning of December, whenever altcoins were at its all-time high. The altcoin market were at its all-time high and rejected. And we've just literally been ranging here right at that previous cycle all-time high. The reason that's so bullish is because you're basically creating this launch pad right here so that when this finally breaks out, you're going to get a huge move to the upside. Okay? And on something like BNB, the next price target on BNB on the 1.618, if you're drawing it on this range, is $1,500. Right now, BNB is at $666.59. So what is that? 2x over like a 2.5. It's like a 2.5x, almost 2.5x. Okay. If it runs, we're not going to the 2.618. So I'm looking at the very least worst case scenario, just based off of these fibs. You've got this 1.618 at $1,500. So what does that mean in the context of the entire crypto space? So BNB, the reason you want to use this as a signal for altcoins is when BNB breaks out and starts going out to new cycle all-time highs and new history all-time highs. BNB is one of the largest altcoins in the entire market. So it's actually larger than Solana right now. So it's, I believe, number 4 in the world for market cap. 4 or 5, because XRP should be 3. So when this breaks out, there's going to be a huge wealth effect that takes place on the BNB chain. Why is that important? Well, all these Binance whales that hold massive amounts of BNB because they use it as collateral for whenever they leverage long, short, etc., whenever they're trading, they're going to now have so much more collateral, so much more money to play with, that you're going to see all that money start to drift and fly into all different other parts of the market, other altcoins, because it's one of the largest in the world. So that wealth effect will impact the other chains and the other meme coins and things that we're trading. So when you see this break out, this will be at new all-time highs. So everybody who's ever bought BNB ever in the history of BNB, once this finally breaks out and goes to $1,500, everybody's going to be in profit. There's not a single person that's going to be down money. So there's going to be profit taking, and that money and that liquidity and that wealth effect is going to rotate into other chains. So this is very important to keep an eye out on BNB because this hasn't broken out to new all-time highs yet. When it does, we're ripping. So BNB is looking to break out to new all-time highs. Huge. ETH, not even close to previous cycle all-time highs. Think about that. ETH's previous all-time high was like $4,800, $4,900. We're at $2,600. BNB's at almost all-time highs. When these things start ripping, the catch-up trade on Ethereum, because it's such a laggard right now, the catch-up trade on Ethereum is going to be massive because all these other altcoins are going to be in price discovery. They're going to be at new all-time highs. People aren't going to see the risk to reward there to continue to hold that asset because they don't know how much more it's going to appreciate. What are they going to rotate into? Well, they're probably going to rotate into the L1 that's way below its previous cycle all-time high and they know is due for a catch-up trade. Bang, another point of confluence to make ETH pump.